creators, or hey, we want to build a program for it, or hey, we want to update our UI, or hey, whatever. Any of those requests are much easier to go through, whereas it's going to be like trudging through mud for somebody like Twitch to approach to deliver a white paper to Amazon and say, hey, we want to justify this budget. Because the way that Amazon is going to look at that is they're going to say, okay, how many Prime accounts is this going to create for us? Where's the profit in this? Like, Amazon is historically a company again that heavily prioritizes the profit. So these are some big reasons that I'm wondering, like, why is Twitch like not able to hold on to these broadcasters, and why wouldn't they put up like a big fight and offer a comparable contract for somebody like RankOneGlobal or Dr. Lupo, right? I don't think that YouTube has to try very hard to acquire these people. I think they say, look, you want to stream less hours? We'll give you some money. It'll certainly be FU money, right? But here are some of the things we're thinking. Here's some of the success we've had. Hey, come take a look at our other creators like Courage and Valkyrie and Dr. Disrespect, and see that they haven't declined in viewership at all. In fact, their streams are thriving, and they also have all these additional monetization methods to make whatever they want happen, and they do it with less time. That's a pretty good sales pitch to me, man. So YouTube's starting to look really good right now. So I don't think that the stats tell the story. They don't always, right? We've seen, if you look at this as it looks like a really crazy decline. It's like, oh man, like they're really losing a lot. But if you put this into the perspective of their long-term thinking, and that they're willing to make these algorithmic sacrifices, you start to see how this kind of adds up. That the long-term play is still very much in favor of YouTube. And I full stop think that YouTube is going to dominate the live streaming market. Like it just like all of those cards are in place for me. There's nothing that shows me that Twitch is making long-term moves, other than the fact that they're first to market and their product is strong and they've got a strong community. Those are all good factors. But all of that stuff has been predicated on the fact that they have not had a significant.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, you can hear the cast in the background. So that means the volume is so much better in this. This is why YouTube is going to be better than that other platform. What I'm doing right now is the next stage of what people's going to be doing. It is so difficult just to get audio in the simplest form, or microphones, on that platform, because it's so low. This is how simple it is. They keep the audio so low. They play it against everything else. The app itself, the whatever console you're using. They reduce the audio volume. When you even amplify it through the app, it's not enough. I'm using headphones from on a phone to get this audio. Now you can cast on YouTube directly from your phone. You can cast directly from your phone on the app to that other platform, and it's fine. But you can't do both the way I'm doing it. The advantages that platform has is the extensions. YouTube doesn't have that yet. I'm not mentioning that other platform for a reason. You know, whoever watches this knows exactly what platform I'm talking about. It's the current live streaming platforms. YouTube isn't there yet. It's going to be there, and they're working on it right now. And the key to it is going to be the audio. If everyone can use the audio in the simplest forms and the easiest ways, like I'm doing, that's where people are having the difficulty. They can't get onto the platform. They can't stream to multiple platforms at the same time. And because that platform tries to monopolize it, tries to control it through their app, tries to make sure that you have to use their platform. That's where YouTube needs to focus on. YouTube needs to focus on their app, their platform, and what they're doing right now with being able to impose audio, a narrative over the top of it, AI speaking through different softwares, different platforms, different devices. So text to speech is another one. It's an old one. Voice activation is the current one that they're working with as well. Because of what they're known for. Google are doing it. Google can do it because they have their own Google devices. That's that I'm talking about. That's the niche. That's where it is. Home devices. If they can team up with the right company. Is it the right company would be the name? The right provider, the distributors of the gaming world, then they can monopolize on it even more. That's where they need to focus on. At the moment, there's currently no games for Sony. No one's on Sony. No one's on it. And the people are playing it are sticking to the PS4. The people who are on the Xbox are sticking to the Xbox One. Yes, you have to stay in the current times. You need to get ahead. That's what people are going to do, aren't they? Yeah. They're going to move ahead. They're going to get... We all want the next thing. Well, if you can provide that customer base or that market and team up with the right people, the right company, maybe you can get the right market, which is the live market at the moment, and then that's going to be the live current reality TV. That's the competition at the minute. That's where the media is going. That's what it's all about. I'm saying this right now from a phone. On a phone with the headset with a head mic from a phone, casting to YouTube live and that other platform. People are going to catch on. It's going to take a while. It's probably going to be in the next 6 months to a year, especially with everyone the current situation it is. They're going to be working from home remotely. And I'm going to say it now is I make these because of the recordings for myself to keep a library. That platform doesn't do that. It breaks you down. It demonetizes you. It destroys everything that you build up. You can't keep a library. They don't want to keep a library. YouTube does. It provides you with it. It also gives you the option for audio. And then when I mean audio, I mean music. If anybody's clicked in knows exactly what I'm talking about, knows it's music. Knows what music I'm talking about. Or what way they went about it. They're destroying themselves, they're eating themselves from the inside out. I'm not against them. They don't want to help their own community. Quote marks. They say they've got a community. They say they've got a categories that you can work in. Probably their biggest areas that I've noticed when I'm streaming on it from my wee silly games and what I've been trying to do is I've noticed that just chatting is one of the biggest ones. And art, yes, providing some sort of art and just chatting are the biggest platforms that they have on that. The rest of the stuff is just people like myself sitting streaming a game because we're sitting at home and we may not have anybody else as company at the time. YouTube provides that. YouTube provides that. YouTube provides me with a community. Even if it's a toxic community, even if its community doesn't want to know, it's still feedback. It's still some sort of, I'm not doing a very good job here. I need to up my game, be better. That's what that other platform does, though. That other platform, it breaks you down. It's not working here again. I found this app which casts the both. Now I want to cast the both is because I'm going to move over to YouTube. But I want the extensions from that platform. I want the options of apps that I can use on YouTube. And I'm going to work on it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do wee things that can build on it. It's not much. It's not very much. Everyone else can do the same thing. It's all there. But see, when you've got these big ones that they're not talking about their contracts because they've probably got NDAs. They can't. And you or me or anybody that's listening to this are thinking, oh yeah, I can do that too. I can get there. Yeah, you can. But you need to sign them contracts. And you're not allowed to talk about it. We're just streaming to nobody. So you need to, and they say build on your community. They're already 10 years ahead with building their community. Known in them games for doing what they're doing. Them games aren't going to change. They're not going to be anything different. The markets are what they are. You've got the big ones, as you know. Dr. Disrespect, Lupo, Shroud, Ninja, all the ones that people know. On YouTube, it's videos. It's a library. It's content that you can add, that they work on. Just them extensions are gonna be their go get me, their main source. So they are. Them extensions need to be added on YouTube. Them extensions need to be refined. They're constantly breaking everything down on that platform. They're constantly working against their customers to try and to grind out the information. That's what they want. So when you get negative feedback or negative hatred or negative or toxic build, it's something that they can work with. It's something they can work on. I personally am a big advocate of YouTube. It's a bigger community. It's a bigger group of people. It's a bigger, wider audience, if you want to say. At the moment, there is other platforms. There is other ones, but they're not getting noticed. There's Odyssey. There's, I don't know what the other one is. It Rumble or something? Maybe it's my generation. You can say it's my generation. It's me. I don't know. But YouTube is going to be self-destructive. Every company is self-destructive. It works inwards, it builds up, and then implodes. And if anyone's been paying attention and they're listening to this in the gaming world, we can see what's happening with Blizzard. One little trip up, and if there's an investigation beforehand and so no one's paying attention because no one cares, over a period of time, it's harder for a company to backtrack when that information's already been gathered and they're not keeping an eye on it. Which they never can, because it's negative. It's always going to be toxic and always built against this stuff. Keep the workers down, keep the community down, keep the customers down, keep pushing everything down, keep making sure that nobody gets ahead. And if they do get ahead, offer them a contract, offer them money, offer them something that it's going to be just enough to cover their bills, or cover something to get out of the pits, if you want to say, like in the Roman Empire. Just enough to go, oh well, we'll give you option of your freedom. I'm talking about this now. I have this on my discussions that no one looks at on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to work on getting some sort of audio or content out there. Like, I can't use a headset on the Xbox. It has to be a headset with the controller because of the products. It's like you have to use it on the controller, you have to use it on it has to be USB 3 or whatever it is for and it has to be Microsoft approved. That's despicable. You can't most things are replicable, or you can duplicate them. Might not call it Microsoft, might call it Micro Slow. Just change the name, put an extra letter in there, and that's what all these big companies are trying to uphold their name. You can't say there's certain names. You can't say the way they don't like it if you're talking negative about them, if you mention their name. I'm just sitting on my channel with nothing, like everybody else, doing a wee recording. Right now. A very good Facebook platform, or Facebook gaming platform. If you game, that's what I say. If you game, RankOneGlobal is a Facebook app for gamers. Not an app, it's an extension. There is God's amount of stuff there for gamers, for people playing games, because of our, well, I would say I'm 35, our generation, we grew up with it. There was game before us. There was Pong, there was the Atari, there was other consoles, but the development for us was vastly improved, vastly upgraded, vastly moved forward. And now all these big companies are having difficulty with us because we're going, what's the purpose? What's the goal? What's the outcome? We're asking for it, and all they can do in return is turn around and say, tough. We're not making that for you. We need to work towards our investors, people who put money in. You're no worth. You don't produce anything. But yet when you build a group of people that builds a community, aka quote marks, a community, all of a sudden they start paying attention. They start looking in that direction, going, what can we sell to them? What can we offer them? What can we do for them? That's what it means to be part of something. To be involved. I don't want these games to go away too. I don't want that platform to break down. Even though I'm sitting here saying against it. Right there. All they want to do is be selfish, make sure they can monopolize it, control themselves. Anytime I'm watching the streams, the people involved are nice people. They're good people. They do listen to their community at the time. But when it goes away and all that data is gathered and all that surveyed information's there, it starts becoming corporate. It starts becoming executive. It starts becoming how can we manipulate it? How can we monopolize it? How can we make it that we can close up doors that other groups can't get in? I'll point people in another direction. If anybody's listening, I'll point you in a different direction. If you've ever heard of open source, very successful as well, and that's what Google's doing, isn't it? It's open source. Open source leaves everything available for the people to change, update, work on, do their thing. That means that the people are the foundation and that it's available. Google itself doesn't actually have monopoly on its customers. When you go It's so difficult to do this. This is where the problem lies. But as I was saying about the games, the platforms, what's being used, what's happening, I'm in my head. It's easy to say now that I can see what's coming. I can see it. I'm trying to let people know it. I'm letting you know through this platform, both of them. I don't want to leave the extensions. I enjoy using them. I am going to change them over. I'm going to move them over though. They're handy on that site. They're handy for when you're watching now, or when anybody's watching this. And I'll be working on my YouTube channel instead from here on in, if I can. It's that their app that is the problem with this here console. If I use OBS or if I use Streamlabs, I can't do it. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people I would like to believe, I would like to think they're having the same difficulty. We're using old Windows systems that haven't been updated, or we don't have the money basically to buy the new Windows system, the Windows operating system, to do the things that we want to do. That's why we're using old consoles. Everyone, yes, I'm gonna get flamed for it. For people saying, "Oh, you're still using that wooden modem or that friggin' Atari console or that Sega or whatever." And that's how these games got to where they are now. They didn't develop overnight. They developed over the last 30, 40 years. These companies, and I remember, I don't know, well, it's the age, I'm trying to talk to people as well online, and between 1990 and 2000 was the times when no one cared. No one gave a damn about games. There wasn't, everyone, our parents were under the impression that a game was just something fun to play. It was something to do, something to pass the time, like going out and kicking a football about, or playing rounders, or baseball, or whatever you want to call it, or soccer, or whatever it is you call it, and or basketball. Everyone just looks at games and has a bit of fun. It's the point where that level changes. The level of point where you realise that you're actually good at something. You can actually offer the world something, you have some sort of value. That there's something to it. That if you're good at, if you've been playing basketball for the last 5-10 years, for talk's sake, and what happens is you actually realize that you're doing better at your dribbling, you're doing better at your running, you're more fitter, you're doing better at scoring, you're doing better at distance, you're doing better at everything. And it feels like it happened overnight. Any sport, I've looked at everything, I've in my own mind and looked inwards, and I would like to believe that in my own head that there's a lot of other people like myself out there find it difficult. I'm noticing on that platform as well that they're trying to promote things about mental health. Yes, I'm not saying that I'm against it. but they're using it as a platform to market something that they can monopolize on and use for their own, if you want to say, evil genius plans. Oh look, they're having an issue. Oh look, they're having an issue. Oh look at that group of people. Look at that group of people, and it's all over the place. That's where the media sets in. The media uses that as content to perpetuate their overall goals, their overall plans for everyone else. That they're offering help, that they're there to help them. When it's really the opposite of what they're achieving there. And as they go back on that platform, when they're watching the streams, when they're actually streaming it, they're looking at the games, they're looking at the developers, they're looking at the people on the ground. They're talking to them, they're listening to chat, and then they're gaining that information, that data, and then it goes over somewhere in the ether, somewhere in the paperwork or whatever's all gathered, and it becomes something else when it comes out the other side of the machine, the results. I'm not, again, it can't be taken out of context here that I'm against corporate, I'm against development. No, it's the people on the ground like ourselves that are doing the work. I'm sitting here casting this to nobody, streaming this to no one to watch, hoping that somebody might click on my Twitter feed and maybe follow me, or someone will go over, and it might be more beneficial to them to use that RankOneGlobal to put their games on it as a library, put the profile up there, link it to Facebook, link it to Twitter, link it to Instagram, link it to Pinterest, link it there, and anything that you can. Our mind works in patterns, it works in grouping of things, of categories in it. And that's what these groups of these bigger companies do. They have more categories, more options, more things to do. And that's what I was going to say about Google. Google isn't owned by Google, isn't Google on its own. It's a knowledge base for the people and open source. You can click and see the coding of a website. You can go to YouTube and see all analysis and data and information that's there in front of you. They're giving you, they're helping you. They're offering what's available. They are, though, in the background doing the whole censoring thing now about if there's money involved. But at the moment, you can work on it. And I'll be taking them extensions from that platform and moving them over and finding a way of still using them. I want to cast both at the minute, but I'll be moving over and keeping my library of record for myself. And there's no need for that platform to me. No use for it. And even when I am moving over, that bigger platform, YouTube, has a bigger audience as well. That one is using its own community against itself. And I want to break out of it from my console. And I have ideas that I will be putting on. There will be things that I'll be trying to use. Because the catch about people is we can adapt. And we're creative. That's why that platform has just talking, just chatting, and art as their biggest platforms. There's also another thing about, if we're going to focus on the games, that company there is apparently raising its reputation from being the destructive company that what it used to be to the redemption story. Electronic Arts against the other one. At the minute, they're being investigated, and it's their workers, the ground, the foot troops, the troops on the ground that they're getting trampled on, literally, foot soldiers. Those are doing the grind. Those are the employees. Those are the customers, the clients, the consumers, the community. All the words and all the stuff's there. There is a line between the community and then work of a closed system or company. Then there's the development of that closed system or from the work of the customers or the clients or the community. And then above that closed system is a structure that is closed off to the workforce, and it's those that make the higher decisions, if you want to say, the higher order, that what can and can't be produced because of the financial gains, the financial control over the closed system that starts off. And all they want is to perpetuate their own gain, to squeeze the orange as much as they possibly can. The age-old classic of when life gives you lemons or life gives you oranges, you make lemonade, we make orange juice. That's what they're doing. All the people, our community, are the ones that's us first. And they don't want us to realise that. They don't want us to build groups together that form companies, that create a better paradigm. There's Steam, indie groups. There's Discord, which is groups of individuals together to build, but they're focusing on the person that is producing the content. And what people do is they cut loose anything that doesn't suit them, suit us. This here saves me from having to actually put this audio that I've been trying to get working onto YouTube. It's already on it now. And then I can edit it. This is what the open source stuff is. This is where we need to work on. This is what people need to be focusing or seeing. All this here, all these menus, all this here, where you can see on screen, was not created by, I want to say not created, not an idea by these companies. They started off with one person coming up with something, then it became monetized. It became financial gain. It's the old classic changing their passion to glory. There's THQ, Nordic. These games are what people want to, well, I believe, want to work on. There's like that's one of the biggest ones as well. Minecraft. the stuff that people are creating in that game is phenomenal. They're pushing out that game. They're remastering, creating a game. They're getting the old game from 30 years ago, or 20 years ago at least, and just changing the graphics. That's how simple it is. Minecraft's a game you build, it might as well be Lego, virtual Lego. It's just Lego, virtually. It says friends and community updates. Xbox news, events, entertainment. Always looking for a way to squeeze the community or group of what's the current narrative or trend. And you can see it. That's what I'm saying. I can see it. The trend at the moment is live or reality shows on media. The next stage is whether we can get that there media to be more than what it is at the minute. And YouTube's working, or Google's working on that. They're always setting the stage, if you want to say. They're setting the stage. They're not setting the trend. They're not setting the next level, the bar, or the benchmark. They're working on the stage itself. If we were to be on it, what is it that's going to be on the stage? What content are they going to put on it? Who are they going to speak to? Who's going to be the next thing that's going to be added to everyone's household name or whatever? Inception, Anchorman, Pennywise. You can see them there. Monster Hunter. Superheroes was a big thing there, because that's another thing that I believe we all grew up with. These are the two big competitors. Video-wise, media, visual. There is one other one that's being slowly negatively built. Not as much as these two though. It's Facebook. Instagram is popular with the kids, but next the kids younger than us. Younger than me anyway. Instagram, TikTok. Quick attention grabbers. For long term though, these two video content creators are going to be the ones. And if I'm having to pick a side, it's YouTube. Twitch isn't going to help. I mentioned their name. But that platform isn't going to help. It doesn't want us to it doesn't want itself to build. It wants to find the trend by negatively squeezing the orange or the lemon. I think I'll leave it there. I'm watching all the stuff. I'm seeing it happening. So yeah. I wanted to do well too. I want to build on it. I wanted to be as easy as they've made it out to be. Need to change the name of it. Just chatting and art. Not gaming.